Moving ahead with the next session on human element in cybersecurity, addressing insider threats and enhancing cyber hygiene by Mr. Abhijit Chakravarty, Executive Vice President, Networks and Cybersecurity at Kotak Mahindra Bank. Can we have a big round of applause for the speaker? Technology enthusiast with futuristic outlook and CX orientation in ICT domain with over 2 decades of experience in the field of enterprise, IT infrastructure, network and cybersecurity, telecom, service delivery and program management, customer experience, general management and leadership. He specializes in networking solution design and architecture, SWAN, SDN, NMS, NPM, EUM and EUS, data center, network and cybersecurity, enterprise IT infrastructure, strategy, design and operations, telecom service and products, IP products and services, SDH, Metro Ethernet, MPLS, program management and customer experience. Over to you, sir.
So, good afternoon, everybody. Just after tea, so I hope we have enough energy to run and kind of bear with me for a few slides that I have to show. So, mostly presenters present slides for the audience, which I'll also do. But I thought I should keep this slide for me. It's very important in today's world, There's a lot of things that goes around. I don't want to be caught off guard, right? So the disclaimer is very, very important, right? Whatever I say are my opinions. I don't really, I'm not driven by any organization or anyone else's thoughts on this, right? And whatever you comment will also be your responsibility, nothing to do with me, period. Okay, so now insider threats, so I think these sessions before me covered quite a bit of ground on insider threats, right? Now, what are insider threats? Basically classified into 3. You have compromised users, and these are very English terms. Or the gentry out here is pretty experienced and senior. I'll not need to get into technicalities with this. Compromised users, careless or negligent users, and you have malicious users, right? So these are the basic insider threat categorizations. Now, where is the human? Now look at it. Insider threats is mostly tied up to human behavior, and why so? I think this chart beautifully explains it. Users, employees, contractors, former employees, everything to do with people. Everything to do with people. It's mostly behavior and action of the people which leads to anything to do with insider threats. Okay. Now, this slide is a bit interesting. I intentionally wrote that unintentional in the middle. I could have made it intentional also, but I thought it could hurt sentiments, and hence I wrote in unintentional. Now, if you look at the periphery of this unintentional user threat, ignorance, lack of cybersecurity awareness, carelessness, human error, everything points to a human behavior, an attribute. That's important to understand. What are the security risks with insider threats? Again, no-brainers, yeah. Malicious content, sabotage and theft. So we spoke all about, I think Sunny in his session covered a lot of what happened. Of all the cases that I was very intently listening to all the cases he described. Everything boiled down to compromised identity. Either carelessness or malicious or compromised users, my first slide. Either of those 3, okay? Now, this is important. Now, this slide tells you what percentage of insider threat or compromise happens because of what behavior. You see negligent or careless users, 56% of it. Just to give you another stats off the hat, and kind of correlating it to what Sunny's presentation said, 68% of breaches, now whether data leak happens or whatever, 68% of breaches are attributed to identity and access. Remember that. Very important, right? Negligent or careless users, compromised users, and malicious users, right? What makes detection of insider threat difficult? Because insider threat is, I'm an insider to my organization, I have a valid credential, I'm using it. How do you detect it over a period of time, right? 44% of it says increased use of applications that can leak data. I'm not even talking to AI. Let us stick to the very Stone Age email. Yeah? Forget AI, just email. Okay? Personal device. I access what with what device? Do I know the device posture? In my erstwhile organization, and HR guys came back to me and say, hey, Abhijit, people are not able to upload documents onto our HR portal. I said, interesting. I said, who are these people? Where are they accessing the portal from? Oh, these are candidates that we interview and they're uploading documents from wherever they are. I said, excellent. Now what happens? Unka document upload nahi hota. I'm like, no document of no user gets uploaded? That's a good problem to have. Nothing works. He said, no. Only some users have problem. I said, okay. Now, these some users have what sort of problem? What sort of document is not getting uploaded? PDF files not getting uploaded, okay? Went back and did some diagnosis, and I figured out that my WAF was blocking it. Why? Because the end user was using an outdated version of PDF freeware. I didn't want to permit it in my system. As simple as that. Because you can get malicious activity from there. So that's where that becomes, just thought to share this example. Now, I thought this could give you some glimpse of what are the insider threats across the different industry domains. I think this is again a no-brainer. Financials and insurance at 38%, the highest. Healthcare again, information technology, governments obviously. Yeah. Now, whereas the upper that chart is important, but I think the crux of it is here. It says 82% of the organizations don't even know. That's the problem statement. That is the problem statement. Detection itself is not there. Forget about diagnosis and remediation. Right? What motivates an insider threat? What are the motivation factors for an insider threat or an insider threat attacker? Financial fraud, obviously, can I make some money out of it? Manipulation, unauthorized transactions, monetary gains, personal benefit. Again, no-brainers, so I'll not spend time on this chart. Here is what is important. How do you start to detect possibility of some insider threats, anomalies? Each of those points are important. Each of those points are important. Now, in a digital world, no one is going to do any paperwork. Everything will be through a digital channel. How do you detect? Shuruaat detection se karna hai. How do you detect? What are the components that you would want to monitor and detect? I think this chart should help. Right. Now, just taking a cue from the earlier chart, it says, monitor and record user activity. These are again no-brainers. Right? I think what is important is, in my own observation and experience, enterprises, security leaders, either way, do not attach as much importance to insider threat detection and mitigation as they do to external threats. I think that's where the problem statement lies. Yeah. And one important factor that majority of the organizations don't do, haven't done for whatever reasons, is this one. Contextual-based user behavior. Contextual-based, not static. Contextual-based user behaviors. Yeah. Now, if you've got to build a training program, see, training programs are built, there are those beautiful, do-it-yourself sort of training programs. We all go and attend it. Tick in the box happens. Still, we are not good enough. Now, when you build a training program around user awareness for insider threats, what is important is what is the objective of that training program? What do you want that training program to cover? Or rather, what should that training program cover? So one is understand ways that organizations can be targeted by malicious individuals, impact of it, right? Understand the impact of internal threats, consequences, all that, right? I think as a part of the training program, not clicking on a phishing email is just not enough. You've got to understand why you should not click. And if you do, what can be the impact and the consequences. That till the time if it is not ingrained, I don't think that training program is complete, right? So these are a few key factors that should be incorporated into the training programs when you are doing insider threat training programs. Well, a bit of a busy slide, but again, what are the ways and means? See, human behavior is one piece of it. You may only train and you may expect it to improve. But you will have to use technology to be able to detect and control, right? So user behavior, we spoke about it, user and network behaviors. Privileged access, we all talk about zero trust access, role-based access controls, etc., and all that. How strictly has that been designed? Are they being modified? Are you learning from past mistakes and making amendments or updates? Yeah. Risk assessment goes without saying. Now, what is the important piece of it is inform the end user. I think we fail here also. Continuous information to the end user, not only in parts of training, but in terms of running some communication programs to tell the users about insider threats, or if I've put a new mechanism of detection and reporting of an employee behavior, I think the employee should know. He should be conscious, he or she should be conscious that my behavior can be detected, will be detected, and hence can be reported back also, right? So that piece of communication is very important, right? Because if you are conscious, whether you like it or not, you will not want to get caught on the wrong foot, right? You would always want to be on the right side of the law, right? So that consciousness is important. I'm done. I think I saved about 3 minutes. So thank you for patiently listening to me.
For saving the time, and thank you so much for your session. I would like to call upon stage Mr. Shrikant Iyer, CISO, Aditya Birla Health Insurance Company, to do the honors.